Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney and Chara and Tappin, bringing you news and politics. Real World News TV every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 8:30 on the East Coast. Real World News TV, the most interactive, longest-running radio and television show under the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. Real World News TV, where your comments and your views are welcome. Real World News TV, news for us, by us, that affects us all. Real World News TV.
Good evening, and welcome to a new edition of Real World News TV. I'm one of your hosts, Reggie Kearney, and I also have my other host, Chara and Tappin, with us tonight. Tonight, we're just going to look at the lighter side of the news. Given the fact that over the last 4 years, we've been dealing with some hard knock news, we just thought we'd just go on the lighter side of the news before we get back into what we're going to talk about next week, politics, because we will definitely have a lot to talk about next week, with the new administration in place, But on the lighter side of the news, let me say I got two things I want to start off with, Chara. How you doing this evening, Chara?
Oh, I'm good. I was just thinking in my head tonight's episode should be called Weird World News.
Yeah, that's good.
It's nice to take a break for a moment from the politics and just talk about weird shit. HTTR gets to do it all the time. So it's nice to take a lighter approach for a change. So what do you got?
Okay, my first one, I got to go back to the orange head, man. Have you ever heard of the office of the former president?
That is the most narcissistic bullshit I've ever heard. Pardon my French.
Oh, boy.
As if he's the only former president.
When I heard that today, I said, excuse the language, make sure nobody's over here going to hear me say what I'm saying. He's a stupid MF, okay? That's just how I'm going to say it. I've never heard no mess like that, the office of the former president. I said, Lord, have mercy. What this guy, knucklehead, would not go through, things he won't do to be relevant, okay? He is a jerk,
The first thing that makes me think of is all of these fraudulent mailings that go out with fake seals to make people think that these are official documents. He's such a joke, but we'll save the real comments on that for the next show because there are ramifications associated with what he's trying to do.
Look, he can do it. The farthest thing he can do, he's out of Washington. I don't care what he do. He can call the office of the orange head. I don't care what he did, as long as he's out of D.C. But look, I found this story down out of North Carolina, okay? This lady won $200,000 with her grandma's lottery numbers, okay? What happened was her grandmother died, and she inherited her grandmother's lottery numbers, and she won a jackpot for $181,000 using her inherited grandmama's lottery numbers.
Thank you, Nana.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was pretty. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Doing that. You just never know what you can inherit and what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And then I found one from your city. Book returned to New York Library, overdue for 72 years. Overdue 72 years.
I might have one or two. Yeah. I have to look in my library.
How many books you got left overdue?
Maybe one. I'm not sure because as much as I like libraries, I wouldn't mind getting stuck in one as long as there was a kitchen nearby for snackage. If I like a book, I want to keep it.
Oh,
so I tend to buy my books is my point.
Oh, okay.
That's my point. When I lived in California, there was a library nearby and I was young. Books were expensive at 19 years old with the work that I was doing. So I I'd go to the library frequently, but I always found it frustrating if it was a book I really enjoyed that I had to
Right.
give it back.
Yeah.
So,
So it looks like she checked this. The book was due back April the 5th, 1949.
what book was it?
Let me see. What was the name of the book? The Life Story of Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
read.
So what basically happened? The son was cleaning out his parents' house in 2013 and found it. So hey, what can we say? Overdue book.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What you got?
Let's see here. In Iowa's news, and I just thought that this was a nice story. It's not weird or anything, but there was a hunter who was looking for deer up in Saylorville Lake. Didn't find any, but did find a message in a bottle that was obviously dropped in the lake in 1983. The message inside the bottle was authored by a fellow named Jim Otto in 1983, who later died in 2012. When the hunter reached out to the number that was provided in the letter, Janet Otto, Jim's wife, said that her husband had started throwing bottles into the Missouri River back in 1976, and that to date he'd thrown hundreds of bottles, and the bottle that this particular hunter found was number 32, and that it's been a very pleasant experience for them because over the years about 65 people have come across the bottles that her husband threw, and I thought that was nice news.
He didn't have nothing else to do but throw balls in the lake.
Message in a bottle, not just a bottle. And it's
Yeah.
like a little time capsule.
And he was out there contributing to the litter in the lake.
You're such a pessimist.
I tell you. I'm surprised the park ranger didn't catch him doing that,
Well, I try to see the lighter side of that, okay? In other news, in Los Angeles, they finally caught video of this unidentified man flying around 3,000 square feet above Palo Verdes in a jetpack. And prior pilots have claimed to have seen him, or people on planes have claimed to have seen him, I guess, during takeoff, but they've never managed to capture video. So finally, they caught video of this fella. Now there is a flight school in the vicinity. It was at Sling Pilot Academy, and I think it might be one of their instructors, but they're not 100% certain. So there's still a little mystery surrounding this. But a jetpack flying at 3,000 feet. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on the ABC News one night because one of the pilots had caught him, flying. I mean, you got to have a lot of nerve to be up there with a full-size jet trying to land at the airport. You're up there 3,000 feet in the air. But just think about if all of a sudden it turns off.
Put. Well, hopefully at 3,000, he has a what do you call it, a parachute or something. One would hope.
Well, he's going to have to drop that valuable piece of equipment down if he does have a parachute because it'll be too heavy for him.
Let's see here. On other news, we're going to go across the pond over to France. A French woman has been ruled dead since 2017, and she's been fighting with the courts to prove that she's alive. One of her former employees was suing her for back wages or wrongful termination, and somehow during the course of that documentation, something was submitted to the courts suggesting that she was dead, and the courts, without reaching out to the family, without reaching out to her, without informing anyone there was a hearing, the courts just ran with it. So now neither her son nor her husband can use their shared bank account. She can't drive her car. And she said she's afraid to leave her house because she legally doesn't exist. And so far, the courts have been saying that's not our jurisdiction and pushing it further and further away to another court to address. So I feel for her plight, but it says something that ridiculousness in the courts is not something limited to the United States.
Well, I tell you, that does happen. I remember when I was a kid, we got a call one Saturday night. One of the relatives of my father was taking care of an older uncle. Uncle Plummer had passed away at the hospital. So, it was very traumatizing. But then the next morning, the hospital called and said they made a mistake. It was the wrong person.
Mm-mm.
So it does happen, okay? Believe me, it does happen. I think he went on to live probably about 10 more years after that happened. He was rolled off. We had already started calling family members, getting set the funeral arrangements and stuff. So it does happen. So look, I don't know if you watched the news yesterday, but down in Florida, a great white shark took a bite off of a boat.
Eek. No, I did not see that.
A big bite off of a boat. Okay, it was a nice boat too. One of them couple $100,000 boats. They were out. People were out in the water doing a little fishing. Probably got up into the shark feeding ground and everything. But it took a bite off that boat.
How large was the shark?
It was pretty big. It was like a 14 to 16 foot great white shark and everything. And then you could actually see the shark trying to eat the fiberglass. I mean, because the boats were made out of fiberglass, and the shark was actually trying to eat it.
I'm looking at. I'm guessing. I'm looking at video now. There was a camera in the water.
No, they were on top. They took, whoever had a cell phone took pictures of it, in the water and everything. But hey, that was a powerful shark. Then for you sports fans, Tom Brady's rookie card was auctioned off online for $555,000. His rookie football card. And it probably would fetch that much, because look how long the man been in the NFL. I mean, he's been in the NFL since they found it. Okay?
I just can't imagine having that kind of money to burn on something as transient as a baseball card.
When you figure, okay, he's one of the oldest players in the football league. I think he's like 41, 42, 43, something like that. I think he's like 41, 42. Okay, you buy it now for $555,000. He might play a couple more years. I guarantee you in 10 years, you probably can double that, because he was the oldest player in the football league. I mean, people want to hold on to this card. I mean, like everybody's card, like Michael Jordan's rookie card, Kobe's, everybody's rookie card has, sold for quite a bit.
Again, I collected baseball cards in the 70s, which my mother then threw away one day without my knowing. But that kind of astronomical money for a card, I don't understand. Must be a guy thing. I don't know.
Well, even if I had the money, I don't think I'd pay for a card. What happens if you lose it?
That's what I'm saying. Or if it's damaged, or there's a fire, or like I said, money to burn, almost literally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in weird news, in Key West, Florida, Key West wants to ban people from feeding free-roaming chickens. Who knew that there were free-roaming chickens in Florida, Key West? Go figure. But apparently they're rapidly increasing in numbers and damaging property, etc. So rather than opening hunting season on chickens, they're fining people who are feeding the chickens in Key West. So $250 per day for the first violation, $500 per day for repeat offenders. So they're still waiting for a vote on whether or not this will pass. But and quickly following that, there is a fella in Thailand, speaking of chickens, who is researching how to convert chicken feather waste into an edible food product. He's getting a master's in material futures in London, so he's not completely crack shot. And apparently there's a lot of nutrients or something in these feathers, but he's researching ways to break it down to a powdered format, which can then be translated into some kind of edible product like a chicken nugget or fake steak or something along those lines. Because there's such a tremendous amount of waste or byproduct with all of these chicken farms across the globe, especially in Asia, he's thinking that this is something that could be used to help to subsidize. It wouldn't be a vegan option, obviously, But for people who are concerned about waste or animal cruelty, or somehow this might appeal to those groups. I, for one, knowing how dirty birds can be and not finding that very appetizing.
Yeah.
It'd be like the hot dog of the fowl world. Worse even.
Yeah. A lot of protein. If you want that kind of protein.
Although I might do that over earthworms. Who knows?
I think I'll take the earthworms first.
Oh, God.
Okay. Going to Canada, a Toronto woman looked outside and went outside. That was a nice wielding squirrel. I guess squirrel was kind of mad. Somebody eating his nuts and stuff.
How does a squirrel? Well, I guess they can technically hold on to it, but
Yeah.
how big is this knife? Has any
it was a small knife, like a pocket knife size. About maybe 6 inches long.
cheese on bread?
Yeah, but the squirrel was kind of mad. So hey, I don't know. Somebody
It's attacking other squirrels. Give me your nuts.
Yeah, but let me see what else going on in this world.
Well, in Oklahoma, a lawmaker has proposed Bigfoot hunting season to increase and boost tourism in the area. So there's a bill that's been introduced by a Republican House member, of course, that would create this hunting season. It's a Republican Justin Humphrey, which includes heavily forested mountains in southeast Oklahoma. Since they have a Bigfoot festival every year, he wanted to add a hunting license to that to boost tourism, and presumably, I guess you have to pay for the license, so it'll be a revenue maker for the state or the county as well. Because there is nothing else more important for this man to be focused on right now than creating permits for hunting season for an animal that has not been proven to exist. But hey, it's like it, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. Then for you folks who love to eat, there's one company seeking paid candyologists to test candy.
What do you test candy for?
How it tastes. Does it taste good? Does it have all the ingredients it's supposed to have?
It's sweet or it's not sweet.
Yeah,
what?
But you gotta test the flavor. If it's grape, if it's made with a grape flavor, you want to make sure it tastes like grape and not like banana.
Okay, first of all, you lost me at grape candy. I've never liked grape candy, grape cough medicine, or cherry. That's out the window.
Why?
They never get it right. It tastes antiseptic and medicinal. Don't like it.
Oh boy. And then Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut, blew out 91 candles on his birthday. He had that much breath in his body. 91 candles.
Good for him.
I'm surprised he didn't just blow himself away into the heavens.
Knock on wood. 91 you said?
Yeah, 91 years old. 91 candles. That's a lot of candles to blow out.
That is. And who was sadistic enough to put that on his cake? That's just mean.
You know how family members are sometimes.
That's just mean. So what else you got?
Let me see. Then you talking about bottles. This one teen's message in a bottle travels 1,200 miles in 2 years. Mm-hmm. I guess a Washington State teenager dropped into the ocean while sailing in the South Pacific. Dropped the ball in the South Pacific. Was found 2 years later in Papua New Guinea. So
that's pretty nifty. I remember they used to have traveling gnomes and robots and stuff that they would find and put notes on and send on its merry way, but you don't really hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see here. In the world of technology, China has debuted a floating train that can travel at up to 620 miles per hour. It floats above the tracks, which allows it to be frictionless and faster. And it has no wheels. And instead, the magnetic levitation train has developed a high temperature superconducting technology, which uses magnets that allows it to hover. It really does seem like China beats us out in everything.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that sounds like a pretty nifty way to travel, especially up and down the East Coast. You know, now can't even think of his name. The guy the guy who manufactures the Tesla electric car. Excuse me. Yeah, he's working
Is that Elon Musk?
Yeah, Elon Musk. He's working on a train that would get you from Washington to New York through a tunnel in maybe an hour, a little hour or less. Be like getting into one of those suction canisters, and then zoom, you gone.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, traveling faster would not be a bad thing. It'd be nice to be able to get to the West Coast and back quicker. But, I'm one of those people that wants to see it tested and try it a few times before I get on, because crashing in that bad boy, not really a pleasant experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But touching back on the lottery winnings, the optimism of the lottery winnings article that you talked about, here's a sad story of a man named James Howells who accidentally threw away a hard drive with 7,500 bitcoins worth $280 million. Talk about ouch.
Yeah, and talking about that, there's another man out there right now who lost his password to get into his Bitcoin account, and Bitcoin won't help him open the account up, get back into it.
Yeah, I have to confess that I'm still very ignorant with that whole Bitcoin thing. I know some people who have started investing and they say they're making money, but it just sounds too good to be true. There's something just doesn't seem right about it. I don't
know. It's a guy. I ran across this guy one day. I was up in one of the shopping centers, and dude was driving a nice car, and I finally came back home and Googled him because he had the information on his car. He's into Bitcoin, and the dude is making money. He's a millionaire with Bitcoin.
From Bitcoin.
Yeah. So I don't know how they cash him in. I don't know what the equivalency of it is to compare to the U.S. dollar, but there's some people out here making money. But now, one of the things, and I don't know who I was talking to one night, one of the things that can happen, the Bitcoin can go down and you can be broke just like that. I mean, it doesn't, sometimes depending on the market, it holds its value, and then it can go like out the window and you don't have anything, but I don't understand it. And I get these, like on LinkedIn, I get these people trying to connect with me who are into that trading, the Bitcoin trading and stuff, trading. And I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be interested in learning a little more about it. A friend of a friend made 10,000 recently off of it.
Yeah.
And the person that I know signed up, and within 2 days it made just shy of 500.
Yeah.
So maybe when I'm feeling a little better and more energetic, I'll look into it. But I don't understand the end game of it.
That's me.
Meant to replace money? I mean, what's what can you buy with it? There's something about it just makes me think of what was it, the SIDS, online virtual community. So, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just an old dog, not understanding a new trick.
One thing I heard that a lot of people like it is because, you see what Tony did up at the top? Got the squirrel up there with a knife.
Is that the squirrel? No.
That is like a chipmunk. That's a chipmunk with a knife right there. Yeah. But one of the things I heard too, that the Bitcoin doesn't have a lot of government control. Okay, and that's why a lot of people are into it. So I don't know what the end game. I wish I knew what the end game is, because I knew there are some people out here making bank with Bitcoins, and I need some of that money.
Well, here's an article which will show you how to make some money. It may not be Bitcoin money, but hey, a drop in the bucket's a drop in the right direction. This company is looking for people to binge watch Netflix and eat pizza. And this individual will be paid $500.
For how many hours?
Let's see here. In today's edition of Lucrative Job Offers is an opportunity to get paid for watching Netflix and eating pizza. Bonus Finder, an American website dedicated to reviewing and offering deals for legal gambling sites, is on the lookout for a professional binge watcher. Let's see here. Following a rocky start to 2021 and lockdowns coming back, the team at Bonus Finder wants to spread some cheer by opening a new role where you'll be paid to watch Netflix and eat takeout pizza. So on National Pizza Day, which falls on February 9th, one lucky job seeker will be paid $500 to kick back with some pizza and watch 3 Netflix shows. That seems like a very easy thing to do. How they'll make their selection, who knows? The selected candidate will be required to review each series for story and plot lines, acting quality, and series ending, among other things. They'll also have to rate their takeout pizza on taste, texture, and value for money. You can find out more information about this on ndtv.com under their offbeat news section.
All right, okay. Now, getting back to the lottery, a woman in Canada won $47 million lottery jackpot with numbers from her husband's dream. Why in the heck could I have dreamed up last week some numbers to win those couple of lotteries that came out last week?
How do you know you didn't?
I didn't. I don't dream like that.
No, really. Or you don't remember your dreams.
When I'm dreaming, I'm jumping off cliffs and stuff.
Jeez, do you land?
Falling over. I don't know. Sometimes I don't land. That's the whole thing, you know. I don't know. Oh well. And a museum in London has purchased the giant Trump baby. They're going to put it on display in the London Museum.
How much did they pay for it?
Let me see. How much did they pay for it? They don't say. They don't say. Probably gave it to him free. You know, probably gave it to him free. You know, so.
It's a crazy world out there.
It is. You can buy anything you want to buy. And then here's another one. I don't know. Irish girls lost soccer ball floats 124 miles to a Welsh beach.
It can happen.
It's floating. Going up and down the coast. The wind
Wilson! Wilson!
Okay, now I might try this to get in the Guinness World Record book.
Uh-oh.
This Idaho man stacked 47 bars of soap for a Guinness World Record.
Only 47?
Yeah.
Okay.
And did it in 1 minute.
Do you get paid when you win, when you set a record? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Look, I know you saw this on the news. You see on the news when a man spent $400 on finding out why his limping dog was imitating. Find out why his dog was limping.
Oh yeah. Only to find out.
Here goes some more news. Chara done froze.
I'm right here.
Chara.
You're frozen on my end.
Where are you? You're frozen in time.
Really?
Okay. Oh, so you're back. I was trying to see if you were coming back. All right.
I don't think Chara paid her internet bill.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Are you back?
Can you see her, Reggie?
You frozen again. Oh, I see you.
No, right.
You
need a squirrel now. The squirrel gonna stab you. But no.
Yeah, the dog
so
was.
This man's dog was limping. So what he does, he goes to the veterinarian. Yeah, to find out the dog was limping. Well, basically, the dog was imitating the owner because the owner was limping.
Yeah, I saw that.
No.
That's love. That's dedication for you. That's dedication for you. What about this man who was arrested for living at O'Hare Airport after, let's see here, allegedly lived there for 3 months?
Then that was really strange. Because he was scared to go back to LA because of the COVID-19 virus.
Then rent a car. Drive yourself home.
Oh no, that was weird. But he had. Well, look, he found out. He found out that. He found out that. He found a airport badge of an employee. So I guess he was walking around with that.
Yeah,
and I bet I could. Look, I could wait, and I'm gonna say something to Derek. I bet you I could stack, 50 pieces of soap in 1 minute.
I think the brand is important.
Yeah, but no, this was the key. The soap was wet, so if you have wet soap, it's gonna stick together.
Nah, not immediately. If you only have a minute, it's gonna slip and slide.
But that's what he did. He did 47 bars of wet soap. So something.
Okay, and that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I might, who knows? I might get a commercial with a soap company,
Which brand would you use?
I don't know. But I guarantee this guy would pick up a commercial because of that from a soap company. Just someone that'll do it to pay him maybe a couple $100 or $100,000. Who knows?
So I'm happy to report, as a new dog owner, that Ben & Jerry's is rolling out a new line of frozen desserts for dogs. So let's see here. It's introducing a line of frozen dog treats. Its first foray into the lucrative pet food market. Doggy desserts sold in 4-ounce cups go on sale in U.S. groceries and pet stores later this month. So keep your eye out, because all things Ben & Jerry's rocks. I'm actually looking forward to surely they're going to make an ice cream. You know how they had Stephen Colbert's American Dream? That was delicious. I'm waiting for the inauguration flavor, or twice impeached flavor with twice the amount of peach in it, and a couple of nuts. I don't know, something. They've got to do something. They always do something. So we'll see what they do this time.
Some of the craziest stuff out here. Well, look, so this man in Taiwan blows 783 bubbles inside of a larger bubble for a world record. I
saw that.
Yeah, so he's got this one big bubble stuck to his face, and he's blowing smaller bubbles into it. And he blew 783 smaller bubbles into this thing.
That's some skill, I have to say.
Guinness World Record. Okay, Derek. I'm going to hurt Derek. Derek said probably hotel-size soap, maybe, and it would be Old Spice soap.
No,
Derek the only one going around using Old Spice. I forgot they even made.
I like Old Spice.
Ugh.
I do. I like it. That and Paul Sebastian. I like that a lot too.
Paul Sebastian.
I'm
saying. But in Florida, you were talking about the chickens, not being fed in Key West. They better be worried about these pythons roaming around in Florida. They found a large Burmese python was removed from a family's driveway in Florida. And Florida's having a big problem with pythons, because basically what happened, people got them as pets and stuff, and they threw them out into the wild, and they have breeded over the years, So they actually have a time of the year where they pay people to go python hunting down in Florida.
Just send them to the office of the former president. He'll do something about it.
Well, look. Have you ever seen the picture of that giant alligator down in Florida?
At the golf course? Yeah.
That's what they should send over to his house. They should capture it and relocate it to the pond and lakes around his house.
Oh my goodness.
And it might eat him.
Yeah, no, too much. Yeah, I know. I have nothing nice to say, so I'm going to keep it to myself.
Look, can you see an alligator walking around? And you know how you be laid straight out, and he got 45 up in his mouth, tearing them up. Oh boy, that would be a great picture.
Mm-mm. Well, it's just a matter of time before there's a sinkhole that opens up in front of the office. So we'll see.
Okay, and then this one is for Derek. He's a fitness buff. Here's a new record. Athlete does 64 hand release push-ups in 1 minute for a new record. Okay, Derek, how many can you do in a minute?
Hand release.
Hand release.
Oh, he's a little quiet now.
Wake up, Derek. A Greek athlete, 64 hand release push-ups in 1 minute, beating the previous. And then he had an easy record to beat, beating the previous record of 6. No, by 6. Okay.
Because again, there's nothing better to do in this world. I don't understand.
Well, somebody got to do the easy stuff, the hard stuff.
I want to see an actual picture of that squirrel holding a knife. I'd have to Google it.
Yeah. I tell you, the other squirrels had to watch out. Gangster squirrel. And
not about that nut life, huh?
So Derek said he could do 45 in a minute. Come on, Derek, you can do the 64. Get in the world, get this book.
Let me see the video.
We'll do a special show, Derek, just to see you break that record in 1 minute. We'll let you on the show just to do it.
Jesus, that squirrel's no joke. That's a big knife. And that's a big-ass squirrel, too. Oh, my God, that's a fat squirrel.
Gangster squirrel.
Let's see here. Man makes pasta with blue energy drink and got over 5 million views on the video. And that's a little gross.
And what did he use?
He used an energy drink.
To make spaghetti.
I'm trying to see here. Yeah, it's blue pasta with some kind of blue. Let's see here. Cooking pasta in a blue-colored energy drink, leaving it with a bluish hue. Not satisfied with simply cooking the pasta in the energy drink, he goes on to prepare a pasta sauce that incorporates flour with the blue beverage. Yuck. Yeah, it looks like Gatorade.
And how many views did he get?
5 million.
If he does something stupid like that every week, look how much money he's going to make.
All I do is post videos of my dog doing something silly and occasionally some snippets from the news, which I find hysterical. I can't imagine, you talk about weird news, this whole generational thing of becoming famous through TikTok and Instagram. I mean, what else do the kids use these days now? But they've legitimately made a profession out of it. And I feel a little bad for them because at some point, when their shtick doesn't work anymore, what will they be able to do after that? If they don't finish school, maybe some low-level marketing. I don't know. But what's going to happen to this whole generation that's simply looking to be famous for stupid acts like twerking videos and?
Well, look how much money they're making. Some of these young folks are getting rich off of YouTube and TikTok. Okay, actually becoming millionaires. I mean, just doing. People want to watch it. They watch it.
But again, when that shelf life expires, if they're not investing their money wisely, what will they? Let's say between 14 and 30, they can do this. And after that, it's not cute anymore. Where do they go from there?
I don't know. Someone won't need to do that because it's this one kid. He's between 9 and 12 or 10 to 12, and he's made almost $50 million, $25 to $50 million off of YouTube videos. And I forgot what he was doing. I don't know if he was singing or whatever he was doing, but he's set for life. All his parents got to do is just stick the money in the bank and let and draw interest off of it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, he set for life. But I forgot what he was doing. But hey, that's where they're making money at now. That's where they're making money at now. Okay, I got another one for Derek. Indian athlete does 85 four-finger push-ups in 1 minute. Come on, Derek. You can do 3 fingers and do 85 in 1 minute. And don't say you're trying to get to 50 years old and don't want to break your hands. But Derek, I know you can do it, man. Fred, I know you can do 3 fingers. I even make it easy. You can use 5 fingers on one hand and 3 fingers on another one. 8 finger push-up.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, he's getting long in the tooth. You know, how old was the Indian guy?
The Indian guy, let me see. How old was he? Okay, let me see. They don't say. Doesn't say, but heck, he did it. And got in the Guinness World Book. You know, some people just do this stuff to get in the book, to get in the Guinness World Record.
Well, sure, yeah, that's all right. But to make a life out of it, I do, like the hot dog eating contest. Don't get it.
Hey, I don't know how those guys do. I looked at it. Let me see. This year, did they have it this year? Yeah, let me see. No, I looked at it last year because they didn't have COVID last year. I don't know how to do it. I tell you, I don't know how to do it.
Laxatives and enemas, that's how they do it.
No, I'm pretty sure they clean themselves out before they get there, but you got to, I mean, you see guys soaking the hot dog in the water because it makes it easy to chew and everything, and just, I mean, swallow it down. Some guys eat the buns after they eat all the hot dogs. You know, they got different ways. Some guys just push the hot dog down the throat. You know, just don't even chew it, just push it down the throat, you know, so. I
don't even want to imagine what the after experience is like.
Oh, they'd be down for a couple of days, okay?
I can't.
You know, but some people like that, you know, and the guy who wins it every year is no bigger than a daggone beanpole. I mean, skinny dude.
Is there anything that you think you could eat that much of? Your one favorite food? Like, I think probably flying fish. I could give that a good run for the money. Cooked in Barbados, of course.
There's no one food like that I would want to gouge on like that.
No.
To go crazy over, you know. But look at the money you make, and you have it's a championship. You win the championship, and so you have for the whole year. You know, the Nathan's. The Nathan's hot dog king of the world. You know.
Please. I will eat a hot dog a couple of times a year, and I always feel guilty afterwards because I know that thing is so bad for you.
You know, I don't like hot dogs, you know, but I tend to eat beef hot dogs, you know. Look at Chris, it just looks weird laughing out loud. Yeah, but I don't know how they do it, you know. And last year when I watched it, it had this big fat brother on there. He was trying to gouge him down. I think he got about 20 down. He couldn't do no more.
I can't.
He dragged himself to get 20 down. You know.
Oh no! If you've never had something that good that you would be willing to inhale, then you haven't lived. I'm sorry. Flying fish is definitely on that list for me.
What you do with the bones and stuff?
No. They take out the bones. It's a specialty. But they're only really about this big.
Mm-hmm.
They're after they debone it. So like 2 bites and you're into the next piece. But don't make me laugh, Chris. It hurts. But other than that, I know some people would probably want to give it a shot for sausage rolls, but after 5, they'd probably tap out. I used to do taco eating contests when I was a kid, but I think the most I ate was maybe 10.
10. Well, I got some bad news for you, Chara. I know you're gonna be upset about this. But did you know they canceled your subway ride this year, the no pants subway ride? It's been canceled because of COVID-19.
They can cancel that. I don't want anybody's nasty ass sitting on the chairs. And they canceled Santa Claus, what is it? SantaCon, when you get all these drunk idiots flooding through the city wearing Santa costumes. It was a lovely, quiet Christmas for that reason, and I am not the least bit disturbed by it.
Well, they took away your no pants subway ride, Virginia. But well, only in New York and a couple other places.
Yeah, no. I think I've only seen a few people do that on the trains. Usually they'll congregate over by Union Square Park, but no. It was bad enough when there was a summer when all the girls were wearing skirts that were basically belts with frills. So you'd sit in restaurants and see them basically sitting in their G-strings on chairs. I'm like, that is the most nastiest thing. Forget what you're leaving behind, but what about what you're picking up? I was like, no. That's when I started to feel old.
Well, then some of them that probably didn't need to be in a G-string. They probably should have been embarrassed by even trying to put one on.
Shit, don't even get me started with that.
Oh, boy. Let me see. Okay.
Not as much weird news as I would have expected.
Well, no, I mean, it's good. Well, it's like over in the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Another world record was broken when this guy baked 2,209 pies and lined them all up. I don't know what's so significant about baking 2,200 pies and lining them up.
What kind of pies?
Let me see.
Meat pies, savory pies, sweet pies?
They want sweet potato pies. I ain't dealing with them. No, they didn't say what kind of pie it was, but they got a picture of pies. But they had a number of chefs working on it, so then they donated it to a charity. I guess a lot of people there had a sweet tooth.
Did I eat today? Yes, I did. Got me thinking about food now. So next week, we won't be talking about weird news. Next week, we'll be talking about probably a few things. The progress of the impeachment efforts, as you suggested, race relations in the country and where we go from here. And what else, if we have time?
It's a whole lot. I mean, you talk about Biden's days in office, it'll be about 21 days almost. I mean, it's a lot of things you can talk about,
Definitely the executive orders. What amazes me is, and you can't tell the difference now between online trolls, foreign online trolls, or cultists. But there was an article that listed a whole bunch of the executive orders that Biden just signed, and as far as I'm concerned, they were all good. And somebody posts, there he goes destroying America in his first week in office. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, against poisoning our waters, pro-vet, helping families in need during COVID financially, helping businesses in need financially. Like, these people are just going to complain for the sake of complaining, not that there's anything legitimate about it. One thing I'm interested in seeing are what, if any, ramifications or consequences will the elected officials have to deal with who supported the insurrection, either directly or indirectly, who that one woman, I can't remember her name, whose own state I think is calling for her resignation.
Colorado.
Posting news about murdering and assassinating Democratic leaders.
Florida. Oh no, that's Georgia. That's
right. So it'll be interesting to see what comeuppance there are for any of these seditious bastards.
But as we touch a base a little bit, what we want to talk about next week, I'm not a big fan of executive orders. Now, the executive orders he's done have been great executive orders. Okay, I agree with that. But the problem is, this country has gotten so far from developing bills that allow these executive orders to stand. you know, hopefully Democrats will be able to maintain office for the next umpteen years, and these executive orders can stand. But say we were unfortunate enough in 4 years for, somebody from the other party to come in, then those executive orders all go in the trash can. It's like you never get into stability in this country. But the thing about it, you can't get the stability because you can't get the votes you need to pass these bills and not have so many challenges,
Well, they can overturn bills too. We've seen that happen.
But it's hard to overturn bills without going to court.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Executive orders, you just come in and start signing, and they're gone. Just like, he basically got rid of just about everything that Orangehead did, just like the Orangehead got rid of everything that Obama did,
Almost. Now, I agree with you in principle that, we have 3 branches of government for a reason, that we cannot get used to simply ruling with an iron fist and doing these executive orders. That said, however, and I think that, Democrats made a lot of gains in the Senate and the House this election, and we need to act like it, and they need to strut a little bit. But on the flip side of that, we need to undo the damage that Trump did immediately. And we don't have the time, pardon my French, to be dicking around in Congress with the Rand Pauls and McConnells who are going to try to throw a monkey wrench in the works, and the people who are going to grandstand over things that, just for optics, not because grandstanding is going to accomplish anything. So I'm glad to see that he's hit the ground running, but I want to see him using the branches of government under him the way they were intended.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Both parties tend to grandstand because, like I said, 4 years from now, if Democrats don't maintain the presidency, the next president will come in and wipe everything out. I think one of the things we don't have in this country is laws that are stable. The government is stable because all of them are trying to grandstand. It's like and that's just what really bothers me with government now. Because everybody, it's like it's a show. It's like a soap opera. And everybody's got a reason why no one is governing with common sense now to bring common sense bills that are needed to operate the society. It's just like when it comes to, if somebody says, okay, we need to, like a lot of people did say today, we need to have bills that are going to improve, race relations and take care of issues that have been long standing that the last person didn't do it. Then it's a big, uproar about that. You need police reform. You need things put into the books. You need fair housing and things like that. But they, anything dealing with black folks, they don't want to deal with it. The Republicans don't want to deal with it. They want to sidestep it and then criticize it when it's done. But I want to see bills that are going to be stable. I want to see the only way you can go to court to get rid of the bill. The only way you can get rid of a bill is go to court and fight it out in court. Because like I said, these, executive orders don't stand forever, Chris says if it doesn't benefit them with a lot of money or a lot of publicity, they're not worried about it. And that's true. They're not.
Yeah. The only thing I would say they're worried about right now is deciding what side of the line they're going to be on. Are they going to be on this side? And we're talking about the Republican Party right now.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the Democratic Party needs to do. They need to put on their big boy pants and own it. But on the Republican side, they're on a precipice right now of losing their party. And they were several years ago with the introduction of the Tea Party. But right now, with Trump threatening to create the Patriot Party, which will consist of anything but patriots, Republicans have to decide whether or not they are going to hold their ground for the true values of the Republican Party before they went apeshit far right, or are they going to capitulate to Trump and his minions and continue to bend over backwards and take it deliverance style and wind up switching over to this Patriot Party because they're afraid of Trump and his followers. So this is going to, when you talk about TV drama, this is going to be an interesting thing to see evolve in the next few years.
Well, he's already filed the papers for his party. So I see, really, I don't care if they do split, because the split means that the Democrats stay in power for many years, okay? Because, I mean, you got a lot of independent parties, you got the Green Party, all the different parties out there that try to have some kind of footing in politics, in American politics. So, I mean, they're just killing their own selves. I mean, I read an article today and said that if this party split comes with the Republican Party, they're going to lose races for years to come.
What he needs to do right now is get rid of gerrymandering immediately. Get that passed. Get buy-in from the states, because we saw the groundswell when Obama won of everything that the right was doing to try to disenfranchise people of their ability to vote. We saw all the machinations they put in place, which basically allowed Trump to get where he was. Now that these folks believe that there's 74 million who think like them, they're going to work twice as hard to make sure that they win the next election by hook or crook.
I love gerrymandering. Okay, here in Maryland, we only have, out of 12 districts, we only have one Republican and Republican congressman. The only reason he got his district was because the Republicans raised some of the sand that Democrats said, okay, we're going to throw you a bone. Okay, so it works both ways. If you look at Texas, Texas is off the hook, because they really took advantage of it. But the thing about it, in a blue state like Maryland, Maryland can go to 12 congressmen if they want to. They got 11 Democrats and 1 Republican. But this is what scares them, okay? What really scares them is D.C. becoming a state. That is what scares them. That is what they don't want, because that's 2 senators, 2 Democratic senators, if Washington becomes a state. And that's what they don't want. It'd be game over.
Until Republicans take over the state, to flip at some point,
How are they gonna flip Washington, D.C.?
Hey, look, we have seen stranger things happen over the last 4 years.
75, 80%, 90%. It's like 90% Democrat, So when behind, and that's what they don't want. They do not want D.C. to become a state, but it would have been
Puerto Rico.
Or Puerto Rico. Yeah. But it would have helped D.C. during that insurrection to be a state, because Bowser could have called up the National Guard herself. She wouldn't have gone through all these dumb channels to get the National Guard in D.C., And like Chris says, the Patriots Party is probably the most dangerous thing that could happen to America. Hey, I was listening to a commentator talk about an article that Ann Applebaum wrote for Vanity Magazine, I believe it was. And basically what she said was, we're going to have to learn how to coexist. This is here to stay. I mean, these knuckleheads are here to stay. Let them have their fun. As long as the Democrats in control, let them have their fun. Let them kill each other.
Oh my God! But you've already got people acting out. There was a man arrested in D.C. today who drove up there in a pickup truck with a gun and some other nonsense in his truck, asking for information about the Oval Office. So, we're going to see more of this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're going to get used to. You got to figure out how to beat it back when it does rear its ugly head. I think what's going to happen, as far as the Democrats are concerned, if I was a Democratic political official in Congress, or either in the Senate, in the House, or either in the Senate, I would hire me a couple bodyguards, because then they're talking about targeting them when they're going home or when they're in their home districts and things of that nature.
Ridiculous.
You just got to think protection, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But, again, these folks don't have the courage of their convictions, because what's the first thing they'll do if something like that does occur?
Ask for pardon.
No, not even, because that would mean they'd have to admit guilt. Just like they're doing now, they're already elected officials on the right saying that the attack on the Capitol was a false flag by Antifa to undermine Trump and his supporters.
It was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And I mean, but look, and then talk about some more weird news real quick. Now, if you watched it, it was this one lone black guy that was in the bunch. Okay, now he should have known he was going to be the easiest one to capture. He's actually from the D.C. suburbs, Capitol Heights, Maryland. And he's still in jail. And all the white knuckleheads have gotten out of jail. He's still in jail because they got him on video beating a cop with a metal pipe and all this kind of stuff. But this guy should have known he'd be the first one to pick out, you know. But then, too, it shows the disparity, again, in the justice system when it comes to white criminals versus black criminals. They've let the white criminals out and saying he's a menace to society, they let him out.
Yeah.
You know.
And although the judge did rescind letting the zip tie guy out. So he has to stay in until.
Yeah, but look what they did to the girl with the computer.
Insanity. And for the record, that fellow wasn't the only one hitting the police officer.
Right.
There were like half a dozen people there hitting him with the flags, don't tread on me flags, American flags, Trump flags, pipes, fire extinguishers. But yeah, he's the one in jail. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. It is what it is. But going forward after next week, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we will.
Have a lot to talk about.
And hopefully next week I'll have a little more energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, one other thing, too, before we close up tonight. One of my Twitter, one of the people I follow on Twitter today, she was talking about how Black America is already getting on Biden, saying Biden is not doing enough. Then she broke it down real nice on the things that he has done that you don't recognize he has done, or you too naive to look at the news. Like he's ordered the federal prison system to start doing business with private prisons.
Mm-hmm.
That's a plus. You know, he one other thing, he jumped back in and put restrictions on laws in place that prevent, redlining and things like that when it comes to buying houses and stuff, I mean, they just don't realize they got to listen to the executive orders and see what they mean and how they have. Some of them are benefiting us,
Yeah.
I mean, his guy's only been in office a week. Gosh, I mean, I think he's done a lot, with a cross ink pen and not a marker to get things done, and sign, So you got to listen to things. So, I mean, it kind of bothers me when we start hollering that he's not doing enough, he is not doing enough there. You got to listen to the bill and see how the bill benefits your community. I mean, the executive order benefits your community and stuff.
100%. 100%. It always makes me pause and question, is this a troll faking being an African American, making comments like this, much like they did under Obama? Is this a real person? How educated are they? How much did they research before they came out of their face and made that kind of statement? It's just.
It's not, because I'm looking at some of these people I follow on YouTube, intellectuals that I follow on YouTube on some of their programs and stuff. And hey, I mean, everybody got their own opinion, okay? Hey, so big, have your own opinion, But some of the stuff they talking about, it just kind of bothers me. But people follow them and they listen to it and they feed into it. Like, there is a certain segment of the Black population that really just doesn't feel like Biden gives a crap about Black America. Then there's a certain population out there that think Kamala Harris is not Black enough. I mean, what is Black enough? So
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I mean, go figure, That's why we always are behind in politics, because what happens is we shoot ourselves in the foot, and then the next party comes along and picks back up again because we got all this infighting and all this stupid infighting, Yeah.
Well, that sounds like another show topic.
Many show topics.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Tony over there?
All right.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Reginald. So good job. I know that was it's different to get away from politics, but politics is what you guys do. I mean, that's what makes your shows. But it's different to, lighten it up a bit, because we've been inundated with the orange person. But now we're going to get into the other stuff. And I'm glad to see you guys are going to cover it, and that you'll talk about the impeachment and all that good stuff, because it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So, good job. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Make sure that you follow Real World News on Facebook under Real World News TV. And you can get notifications here when they go live. Get notification of the shows. Also, make sure to head on over to the website at hottopicstalkradio.com. Tomorrow night on Hot Topics Talk Radio, yes, we are back. Me and Miss Yvonne. As a matter of fact, Yvonne is here in Las Vegas. So we're going to be broadcasting tomorrow night under the same roof as we've done. And it's going to be fun.
I didn't know it snowed in Vegas. That's crazy.
How many inches did y'all get?
Probably 1/16. But it was enough to make it cold. It's cold right now, and I've got my fireplace going, so it's kind of warming things up. But you know, like I said, tomorrow night Yvonne will be here. She's coming into snow, you know, and that's been odd for her, I'm sure. But we are coming back on air tomorrow night. Show starts at 7:00 p.m. Pacific, 9 Central, 10 on the East Coast. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about the alpha female, the alpha woman. Yeah. A lot of. Why are you shaking your head, Reginald?
Man,
no problem. Huh.
Well, I mean, at first I didn't even really think it was a term. I really didn't, because you always hear the alpha male. But now they've recoined and turned it around to be alpha female. Careful. And I think it has to do with, you know, women's way of doing things, women today, you know, in professional life and making decisions and all that good stuff. So it's going to be an interesting show. This is our first show back since 2021 has come about, so we're looking forward to it. So I'm hoping that everybody will join us. But again, we thank you for tuning in to Real World News TV with that handsome dude right there, Mr. Reggie Kearney, and that beautiful woman, Miss Chara and Tappin. And come on back next week, because they're going to hit on the topics of they're going to hit on the topics of the impeachment hearing, the executive orders, and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to it. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Hey Tony,
yes.
Can you get the agent for the chipmunk with the knife and get the chipmunk on here next week?
Thank you.
No, I want that fat New York squirrel.
Go to UPI.
He looks like a gangster, but he's cute. Anyway, so thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate your support, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Hot Topics Talk Radio right here on Facebook. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. Good night.